Get yourself a lekker spot and just sit back and receive and welcome. Let's start with permission. What can you give permission for today? Good things, surprises, good health, feeling alive and amazing. Excuse me. The very qualities of thoroughness. Give permission for that. I mean, when you're dealing with a good thing, it has an element of thoroughness to it, which is indescribable. So, the very quality of thoroughness in life now, you'll see that you either have it or you don't. You can't be half thorough. You can't be trying to be thorough. You can't. You either have it or you don't. And you own it and you claim it. Excuse me, the eyes are still watering from the residue of the flu. So either you have it, you own it, you claim it, you are it. That's thoroughness. And I want to read to you a wonderful piece that I received just last night from Carolyn Miss. She's such a wonderful teacher, also getting on in years. And she still looks after her old mother that is now in her late 90s. And she also has a few doggies, like a little Maltese I saw running in the background there the other night on one of her videos. I love listening to authentic teachers because when you listen to an authentic teacher, you feel the energy that is imparted from that being to your being, which is what I want to talk about today. And we'll get there eventually. That wonderful sense of oneness. And what is oneness? It's this flow, because where there's a oneness, everything is connecting with everything, and there's this flow. Just like all the molecules, all the droplets, all the atoms of the water when it flows as a river. It's a oneness that we can observe with everything in nature. And it is so beautiful to experience. So we must allow ourselves to feel that too. The word oneness has been so misconstrued. So I'd like to explore that with you today, but we've got many, many turns to make. So let's see. So she writes, Carolyn Miss, she says, among the many characteristics that define who we are these days, by far our inner drive for personal empowerment stands out as among the more recognized personal goals. The passion for self-empowerment and its many offspring, such as self-health, self-esteem, self-care, the inner self, and so on, has not always been the vital core value that it is with us today. Decades of living in a society that has expanded our understanding of the components of health to include the psyche, the intellect, and the spirit has given rise to the realization that we are truly complex beings. And even if you stay on a journey to know thyself for your entire life, you can still not know all the aspects of yourself. So allopathic medicine is no longer sufficient for a full recovery of health. We must include all the facets of us, the human being, that cannot be measured in a lab, in a laboratory, or in a scientific faculty at the university. That is all the power that cannot be seen or touched or felt. There's still no way in science in this world to measure consciousness. The As we are discovering, it is this invisible part of our anatomy that is the true power battery of our life. The power we cannot see has the most influence over all that we can see, that we can touch, that we can smell, that we can taste, and that we can hear. Our compelling need to seek for ways for our own empowerment has far deeper roots than personal development. Our compelling need to seek ways for our own empowerment. It's a compelling need now. And if you don't see it and you don't understand it, it feels like an urgency and it feels like something that's constantly sitting somewhere in the back that's driving. It's kind of like nudging you. Come on, come on, come on. And sometimes we don't understand that restlessness. You know, you'll sit for one moment in the lounge and then you bop and you hop and you're in the kitchen and then you think, what am I doing here now? And then you go to the bedroom and so you feel this restlessness that's stirring in your soul, in your psyche, in your body. Our compelling need to seek for ways for our own empowerment has far deeper roots than personal development. It's not just about developing yourself personally anymore. This is a far greater commitment than anything that can be measured here on earth. As she clearly says, it's not possible to find it in a laboratory. It's not possible to find it in a way that we can explain it with a mathematical equation. We are in a collective journey of evolution, a journey that involves the community of life on this planet. We are now living in the age of energy. That's it. We are living in the age of energy, and energy is yet another name for power. You know, have you got a power failure? Have you got load shedding? Is the power off? That's how we speak. And energy is another name for power. The gravity field of evolution itself is drawing us inward, beckoning us to explore the nature of our invisible life system. Invisible, not tangible, beyond the five senses. The operative word for me at the moment is beyond. We need to go beyond what we know, beyond the sun. There is nothing new under the sun. We've already done everything here that can be done. We've had civilizations on this planet before that was far, 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 far more advanced than what we are today. It's not an accolade to be here. We now need to go beyond. We need to go beyond what we know, what we understand, and what we deem to be possible. And yeah, Carolyn Miss says, the gravity field of evolution itself is drawing us inward. You're not going to find it out there. You need to go inward. The gravity field of evolution itself is drawing us inward. How beautifully she writes this, beckoning us to explore the nature of our invisible life system. That is our consciousness. The truth is that power is the fundamental ingredient of life. You cannot get away from it. And most human beings are afraid of their own power. They are afraid of what good they can manifest. So they rather keep manifesting the negative so that they can feel bad about themselves. The worse you're going to feel about yourself, the less you're going to connect with the real power. The nature of power that people are chasing on this planet today is not power at all. It's destruction. It's destruction. We cannot keep destructing this way. And you know where the destruction comes from? From desperation. Because desperation equals destruction. I've been teaching it for years. For me, there's always the relatedness between two words, because we are always required to consider the paradox. Everything in creation is a paradox because everything has a place. It is the way in which it is applied that becomes the problem. The way in which we direct the energy, the way in which I apply my power, that is the problem. Our power needs to be engaged with in the same way as what the creative laws on this earth dictates. And we can no longer be in denial of the way that the creation laws govern also how we function at an unseen level, because the laws of creation is unseen. It's not something that we read on a billboard on the highway. It's unseen. It's not a message on your phone. It's not Facebook where you can go and find and read things what other people post and what they want to share. It's amazing to see what's happening on Facebook, certainly the Facebook that I know, because I don't see pictures of people's lives and how they brag and which other beach they're standing on and who they're marrying and how beautiful and how fancy this wedding was and how much money they spent on it and, you know, their new car. And no, it's not about the stuff. It's not about Facebook. Where I am is about beautiful messages. It's about telling me how I can reconnect and how I can experience my oneness. But let's continue with what Carolyn Miss is saying for us. So, as we are discovering in this invisible part of our anatomy, that is the true, our invisible part, the invisible part of our anatomy is the true battery of our life. The power we cannot see has the most influence over all that we can see, touch, smell, taste, and hear. There is something that is more powerful than these five senses, because that which is invisible, which is that which most the materialists refuse to acknowledge, that there's something beyond what is made up of physical substance. And that is extremely important for us to remember now, because we know it. But we're in denial, and denial is the source of core addictions. We are addicted to feeling limited and feeling lack. That's the problem on the earth right now, is that denial is the source of our core addictions, and people become addicted to things. Some people are addicted to PTSD. Some people are addicted to feeling anxious and panic. Some people are addicted to worry. Some people are addicted to think that it's their fault. Some people are addicted. It's denial. Because you are in denial of who you truly are. You are experiencing lack and you are experiencing desperation, which equals the destruction that we live in. Let's continue with Carolyn Miss. She says, our compelling need to seek for our own empowerment has far deeper roots than personal development. We are in a collective journey of evolution, a journey that involves the community of life on this planet. We are now in the age of energy, and energy is yet another name for power. The gravity field of evolution itself is drawing us inward, beckoning us to explore the nature of our invisible life system, our consciousness. The truth is that the power is the fundamental element of life. It's the fundamental ingredient of life. If you like, it is the source. Everything we do, think, feel, imagine requires power. So urgent now to explore the emerging truth that the most valuable resources we have as human beings are those we cannot see. So it's urgent to now know that the most valuable resources that you have at your disposal to use at any time are those that are the things that you cannot see. Creativity, love, trust, faith, consideration, and imagination, endurance, determination, vision, courage. Everything we create is the result of our invisible assets. Invisible assets. Everything. Even our health, including the health of our relationships and our occupations, relies upon our inner resources. Isn't it wonderful what Carolyn Mrs. is sharing with us here? We are as engaged in the invisible world of energy as we are in the world of matter. The first thing everyone does in the morning is connect to their energy universe via the internet. Can you please switch off your camera, Tana? Thank you, because we're busy recording. If you just have some sensitivity for that, please, Tana. We are busy recording, and when you are on the screen, you can be seen. And I share this video with many people, and I don't have facilities to edit it. So if you can please just be considerate of that, that'll be really nice. We are as engaged in the visible world of energy as we are in the world of matter. The first thing everyone does in the morning is connect to their energy universe via the internet. But we are now as connected to the inner net, she says. Carolyn Miss calls it the inner net, as we are to the internet. Our sensory systems are rapidly evolving to adjust to invisible atmospheres that is alive with human and technical data. That our five senses cannot comprehend this truth, this mystical fact of life, is the source of numerous health crises. All right, I'll read that for you again. Our sensory systems are rapidly evolving to adjust to the invisible atmosphere that is alive with human and technical data. That our five senses cannot comprehend this truth. It's a mystical fact of life. It is the source of numerous health crises that we are experiencing because the psyche, the system doesn't know how to process this data, this information. And it does cause, I'm going to share it with you, the causes of ascension. It causes things to happen in our bodies because we are all part of this evolution now, this ascension. It doesn't matter who you are going to ascend and you're going to go up the rung of the ladder. So you now need to make sure against what you are leaning this ladder. What is this ladder leaning against? Choose the construct that you want to achieve at the end. Choose it carefully. So our continuation, our survival and well-being now rely upon our recognizing, and now I'm quoting Carolyn Miss again, our survival and well-being now rely upon our recognizing that we are living through an extraordinary time in human evolution. Old forms and ways of thinking are no longer adequate for problem solving or for creative decision making. It's a fact. And as we look to our future, our understanding of what we require for our health and well-being needs to include knowledge of our energetic anatomy system. It needs to include a very good knowingness. You need to know that about yourself. You need to know how that functions. You need to know how your energetic and anatomy system is supporting you to continue to survive. And most of all, we must learn to recognize how our power system is aligned to the laws of nature. And here, Carolyn says it as well. I've been advocating this since I started my teachings, that this is where the truth is found, in the basic laws of nature, the way that this planet functions. It's a planet and it has a system of creation laws which governs it. And I am part of those laws as much as the plant, the tree, the lion, the elephant, the ant. I'm, I'm part of those creation laws that governs from the cockroach to the king of the jungle. No one is exempt. And most of all, we must learn to recognize how our power system is aligned to the laws of nature. Every decision we make, as well as the quality of our beliefs, should be converted to power currency. That is, will this disempower me? Does this work for me? Does this disempower me? Does this not work for me? Or will it empower me? If it's working, it's empowering you. It's giving you the power to continue. We are creatures of power, first and foremost. In the last session that I did, the last Energizer which we shared, which was on the 9th of October, if I remember correctly, I spoke about you being the most important person. And when you recognize that you are the most important person, your need for approval go away. It dissipates. There's no desperation anymore for approval. When you are desperate for approval, you are on a path of self-destruction. Period. Desperation equals destruction. I'm not sitting here telling you this because I think that's the way it should be. I've lived it. That's why I know it. I have lived my desperation and how it delivered destruction after destruction after destruction into my life in the worst possible ways. And that is what empowers me to sit here and share this with you. And the reason why I'm doing these energizers is so that I can spare people the need to go through these experiences. I can teach it so you can avoid it, so that we can elevate, so that we can evolve, so that we can ascend. And we can start moving beyond the daily challenges that we know and that we are fraught with, and that our forefathers were fraught with, and that the planet has been living for thousands and thousands of years without changing it. We just do it in another way. We give it another form. Before it was broadswords, now it's guns and bombs. But we still do the same thing. We kill each other for stuff, for things. We have not learned yet to make the shift beyond the stuff. And I listened to Dr. Wayne Dyer this morning, and he said as well, he said, when you can let go of everything and you can be okay with nothing, that's a bit harsh for me because I'm a hoarder. You know, I said, please forgive me, I'm not there yet. So I'm not sitting here preaching to you. I teach best what I need to learn most, as Richard Bach writes in his book. You know, preach across forever. Our need for empowerment is indeed a spiritual impulse. that is unconsciously directing us to discover how truly powerful each of us is, especially in invisible ways. It's not in ways that you can flash on Facebook. It's not in ways that you can look good to others. That's why people are not interested in this process, because it's not delivering them influence in the world. And that's all that people are looking for, is to be an influencer. I'm so grateful and so deeply grateful that I have a handful of people. I don't have thousands of followers. I don't have, and I'm also very grateful to the people that have prevented me from being that on social media. Because now I have a handful of people, and I know that those who find me want to live with the value of what we receive in invisible ways, in, like Dr. Wayne Dyer calls it this morning, radical humility. To go into a radical, humble presence. Radical, like completely, like over the top. And from that realization, other mystical truths become self-evident. That we indeed participate in the co-creation of all that happens in this world. That all life breathes together. That what happens to one person in some way indeed happens to everyone, because we are all part of the same cosmic soul. We are all part of the same source. The river, with all its trillions and trillions of atoms, it cannot even be measured. In one water drop is found 10 to the Macht 26 atoms. And that flows in the river and in the sea. It's beyond what we can perceive, the vastness of it all. And that we indeed participate in the co-creation of all that happens in this world, down to that level. Of photons. Our very DNA affects the way that photons behave. The way that we observe affects the way that photons behave. We are indeed participating in the co-creation of all that happens in this world. And Greg Braden says that when you can get this, when you get that every aspect of you is affecting the way that life is constructing itself, reality actually, not life, but reality is constructing itself, that all life breathes together, that what happens in one person in some way indeed does happen to everyone, because we are all part of the same cosmic soul. We are all part of the same thing. There's this that includes everything, and you are part of that. So my devotion in all I share is to leave you with truths and tools that can empower you for the rest of your life. And they do. For me, the most vital teachings that anyone can provide now are those that reinforce the truth that every thought you have, every thought you have, every word you say, every act that you initiate in some way influences the whole of this world. And you are more powerful than can be measured. How beautifully written this is, Carolyn Miss. Thank you for being such an awesome teacher. And now I take you back and look at the synchronicity of this, that this piece of writing should find me after I did a session on "You're the Most Important Person." And that when you know that you are the most important person, your need for approval goes away. And you begin to appreciate yourself. Truly, deeply appreciate you. My definition of success, which I found way back in 1990, I think, is appreciation. And that through appreciation, respect will grow. And when respect grows, so many other things come. I must find the exact words. I saw it somewhere yesterday when I wrote it in 1990. I think it was 91 when I did the mile. So, excuse me just a moment. Just a moment, please. Thank you. So, here are 5 energy tools that you can use to clear your space and prevent energy drains while you're releasing people's energy. Because now what you need to realize is that because everything, all the emphasis is now on energy and how energy is exchanged, because the most important part of human evolution now is to recognize that we need to master, and we each one, doesn't matter whether you're a child, a baby, an adult, if you're a human being, you need to master equal exchange of energy, and you need to know what that means and how that works. Because unless we get what equal exchange of energy means, we will not be included in the evolution, because the evolution now demands equal exchange of energy. And if it's not going to happen, you won't be included in the evolution, because you won't be allowed to continue if you cannot equally exchange energy. It's not my rule. I'm telling you to remember that that's the most important aspect of your life right now. That you need to honor equal exchange of energy first and foremost with yourself. And you need to exchange energy with yourself for what you are delivering in your life every day. Because if you are delivering and you know that you're doing your best, that you're giving everything, that you are an extra mile person, you need to exchange such energy with yourself. You need to allow yourself to receive in kind. And it's important, because if you don't, you're going to get ill. Because that's what's happened to me. I cut off the flow of the things that were nourishing me, and I got very ill. And the illness was for many reasons. It's also because I'm busy preparing for an inner child process in which we're going to go on an immensely profound journey. And I am experiencing the physical symptoms and the illness in my body that I had as a small child of age 5. Exactly. I remember it so clearly, that the way that I used to hold onto the walls of the passage in order to walk, because I couldn't hold myself up. I was too weak. And the medication that I was given was like morphine. I was on a trip most of the time because of my severe asthma. Like I don't know what cortisone, whatever they gave me, but it was severe. I really did have hallucinations. I saw beings and I saw things that to this day I don't know what they were, because they certainly weren't human. So, as a small child, age 5, I forced my mother to cut my hair, to cut off my plait. Like I had a long plait like this. And I forced her to cut it off, because I said they were taking me up into the sky with my hair. So, it's amazing what this body is capable of, and the dimensionality that this body can actually achieve. Because as a pushing 70-year-old woman, I experienced myself in exactly, my body was in exactly the same place as when I was 5. It was a profound experience because I physically felt like I was 5 years old. Even my body felt that way. The dimensionality was so real because there is no time and space. So stay centered and grounded is the first and foremost important thing to know. Here are 5 energy tools to use to clear your space and prevent energy drains while you're releasing other people's energy. Because you got to keep on releasing also what you're receiving. You can't hold on to anything. Your cup must continuously be cleared and empty, just like I've got to drink this coffee because I've got to finish my coffee so that the cup has space for more. If you're having coffee, cheers to life. So, stay centered and grounded is the first tool. When you are centered within your spiritual self, not your analyzer ego self, not the rightness, the trueness. When you are centered within your true self, you sense right away when something has moved into your space. You know it. And if you are fully grounded, you can easily release other people's energy and emotions that is coming into you through and down your grounding cord with your intention. I give it to the earth, or I give back to you what's yours and I take back what is mine. But you take charge because you're important and your authority is needed. Your permission is needed. Why? Because 99% of people are ignorant. They don't have the ability to give that sort of permission. Because when you give that sort of permission, life will listen to you. And life is going to take note of what you say. Because life cares for life. And if your permission and your word is in such a way where you appreciate and honor yourself for the reality that you're creating, for being a co-creator with life, then life trusts you. And then it cares for you. It has to, because it has to preserve itself. And it preserves itself, life preserves itself through evolution, through those individuals, things, plants, insects, energies, whatever, is ensuring that life will continue. That's what life looks out for, and that's what life cares for. So when you stay centered and grounded within your spiritual self, within your true self, within the self that simply just acknowledges and appreciates and respects the laws of creation, that open spiral that continuously creates. And right away, when something has moved into your space, especially when it means you harm, when it does not have your highest good at heart, when it's not looking out for you, it's disempowering you. Then when you are fully grounded, you easily release this energy and these emotions, thought forms that are sent to you with hatred, with envy, with criticism, with judgment. You release them down the grounding cord with your intention. Number 2, being in a state of non-resistance. What we resist persists. What we resist stick to us. I saw a beautiful clip of a monk that was explaining the pendulum of life. Because everything is in this pendulum of life here on earth. What goes around comes around. It's a creation law. That's just how it works with gravity. So being in a state of non-resistance, what we resist sticks. Even if you feel uncomfortable around a certain person or in a group, don't go into resistance as a way to protect yourself, as this will only keep foreign energy stuck in your space, and you will feel even more animosity or more negativity or more judgment or exclusion, whatever it is that you choose to experience. But don't go into resistance as a way to protect yourself. Fuck you, I don't need anybody, all of that stuff, No, don't go into resistance, and certainly not into defense as a way to protect yourself, as this will only keep foreign energy stuck in your space, because now you're going to experience the same thing everywhere else, because it will insist to show you. So move into a state of non-resistance. And I always explain it like this. When you resist, go push against the wall. What you resist resists you with equal force back. Right? So now it's one of the laws that Newton explains for us. So when you stop resisting, when you're the one that stops resisting, the sound of one hand clapping. You need the resistance to create a clap. So if you remove one hand, the sound of one hand clapping, there's no resistance. There's only infinite space. So when you stop the resistance, you stop keeping foreign energy stuck in your space. It can go nowhere. It's stuck between these two, and you're pushing it together. Move into a state of non-resistance by imagining that your body is clear and translucent, like the clearest lake in the sky, that you can see to the bottom, and that the clouds can see to the bottom, and that all that is can see. There's nothing to hide. It's transparent, it's translucent. This way, if someone throws some invalidation at you, it will pass right through you. It's transparent. There's nothing to catch it. It's free to go. Isn't that beautiful? And how simple is that to do? Be in a state of non-resistance. Surrender. That's all that surrender means, is be in a state of non-resistance. It's one of the 4 pillars of life. I've been teaching it for years. And all of life requires 4 pillars. What? No, oh, there was a funny notice there that I couldn't read. Okay, well, let's hope that everything's fine. Right. So now the next one, we've got firstly, stay centered and grounded. That's the first one. Second one is be in a state of non-resistance. And now the third one is our personal aura space. We each have an energetic aura that surrounds our body, because our body is emitting energy. It's a lot of energy is being created right here by your heart right now, your lungs breathing, your brain functioning, firing actual energy synapses. So we have an energetic aura that surrounds the body. And if we don't own this personal space, if you think it's not there, you refuse to accept that it exists. When we own this energetic space, we are vulnerable to foreign energy entering it, because it's your space and you need to own it because you're creating it. And foreign energy can enter it, and you become aware of your aura's boundaries, because boundaries is something that is most important. You need to honor boundaries, because that's how things work on earth. There's boundaries between me and my neighbor, and that boundary is not allowed to be crossed by my neighbor. That's my boundary. It's as above, so below. It's one of the laws of creation that operates for this planet. We need to know that we're going to be the same. So beware of your aura boundaries. About an arm's length away from your body, all the way around is healthy. You can make it much bigger, but you're just going to be absorbing and catching that much more debris. So you can pull it, you can push it out, and you can pull it in. There's ways to learn to do that. But about an arm's length from your body all the way around is good, above and below. And that is a way to own your own personal space. That's my personal space, and you must own it because it's real. There's no use resisting the fact that there's no such thing. You're the one who's going to be paying the price for your resistance, because you're going to be trapping a lot of stuff there that you don't want. And right now, there's a lot of resistance towards hearing the truth. A lot. It's judged and it's called by all kinds of names and it's ridiculed. But it's what is. So, number 4, give yourself an energy cleanse. You've got to give yourself a regular energy cleanse, just like when you go into the shower, when you go into a bath, or when you wash yourself. You've got to give yourself an energy cleanse. The color gold has a high vibration, which is useful for cleaning away foreign energies. So you can imagine a gold shower nozzle at the top of your aura, so about a meter away, a half a meter above your head, where it's comfortable for you to reach it, because you want to reach it. So it's a gold shower nozzle at the top of your aura, half a meter, a few feet above your head. And when you turn it on, you allow a clear gold energy to flow through your aura and your body space and release down so what the gold is doing, so it's coming through the nozzle and it's flowing through you, and it takes with it. It's like a magnet, a gold magnet, if you like. That pure gold is attracting all impurities and it pulls it right through and it sends it back into the earth. Because remember, Mother operates and flourishes with manure. Any kind of manure. That's the way it's created. That's what creates the soil. It's manure. It has to have a system that is going to absorb what is the excrement of another system, because otherwise it will just get full. So, and we get full because we don't allow the excrement to get out. So give yourself an energy cleanse with this beautiful gold shower, this gold energy that flows through your aura and body space and releases down into your grounding cord and into the earth. And you will immediately feel cleansed and refreshed. And you can do that while you're driving your car in the traffic. Just keep your eyes open. Don't close your eyes while you're driving. It's not a good thing. Not even for a second. Huh? So, let me go through them again and just remind you of each one, and then we'll go to the next one. The first one is stay centered and grounded. You ground yourself many times a day. Be in a state of non-resistance. Own your own personal aura space. It's real and it's very valuable and very vulnerable. That's the real source of your vulnerability, ultimately. And give yourself an energy cleanse with a golden shower. And last but not least, call back your energy. When we have our energy in our own space, there is less room for other energies to enter. So, call back your energy. When we have our own energy in our own space, there is less room for other energies to enter. But in other words, what is in your cup is in your cup because that's what you put there, or that's what you ordered there. That's what you chose there. It's in your cup. when we have our energy in our own cup of life, there is less room for other energies to enter. But as we focus on other people and projects and things and to-do lists, we sometimes spread our energy around. We become scattered because we want to be able to firstly multitask, and secondly be all things to all people, and thirdly be perfect, and fourthly impress, and and look for approval, and the list, and comparisonitis, and the list just goes on and on. So as we focus on other people and projects and the children and life and all the things that needs to be done, and the office and the business, and we spread our energy around, we create an image of a clear gold sun several feet above your head, and let it be like a magnet, attracting all of your energy back into it and purifying it in this magnificent life-giving energy of the sun. It's purifying it in this life-giving gold energy. And then you bring it down through the top of your aura and into your body space, and you're releasing your energy back into your personal space once it's been cleaned by this sacred and this amazing. That's why the Egyptians have the image of the red sun above the head, and they call it the sun god Ra. But it's basically this very same thing, because you create the image of this amazing sun above your head several feet, and it's like a magnet, and it's attracting all your energy back into it that has been scattered all over the place, and it all, that awakening to the oneness, and it all comes together again in this beautiful oneness. And that's what you want to experience. So this quality of thoroughness means all the difference between a life of peace and power, or one of misery and weakness. You see, when we start this, we make this choice, and we begin this journey where we realize that power is the essence of everything here. This energy that drives down to the quarks, down to the space. There's still energy in the space. Your own experience of life is a testimony of how rare this quality of thoroughness is, and how difficult it is to find men and women who will put thought and energy into their deeds with thoroughness, to do it completely and satisfactory, and to bring this quality at source back to everything that we do. That there is no need for someone to come after us, to come and fix the mess, but that it begins as quality at source. True skill and excellence are acquired by very few in life, for this reason, that they lack the ability to gift thoroughness. So what we rather find as the norm as a result of this lack of thoroughness is thoughtlessness, carelessness, laziness. This is rife and on the increase every second. Because right now, for those who skimp and shy away from work today, will another day, and in the hour of deep necessity, look and ask for work in vain, because there will not be the ability to sustain yourself if you are not in all of this that I've explained to you this morning, when you are doing that as your daily life, as life can care for life. you become an aspect that life is in awe of, that you are an important, the most important person in your reality. The law of continuation, and I don't like the word survival, so I use the word continuation. The law of continuation of the fittest is not based on cruelty. It's based on justice. It's a divine equality. It's a divine equity which everywhere prevails. And it's a due compensation. No one is overlooked. No one gets more than the other. It's a daily compensation. You get compensated daily for what you have given. That's the law of the mirror. What you put out, you get back. Whatever your task and work may be, put your whole mind upon it and do it thoroughly. Because the purpose of life is to do what you're doing with passionate purpose, thoroughly, 100% frequency and resonance now rewards you generously. I'm not just saying this to you. Let your life become a place where you give 100%, where you give with the frequency and resonance that is a contributing factor to life. Then you are rewarded generously. And I always say, life rolls out the red carpet for you. You can then be fearless of your welfare for the sources of the things that you need. But the services of the thorough men are always in demand. The services of men that are thorough are always in demand. So this is where we are evolving to. The very system called life is now in a space of constant evaluation. It's evaluating thoroughness. It is evaluating thoughtfulness. It's evaluating consideration and caring and forethought and energy and willingness and continuous care. It is looking at that in a very ruthless and compensatory way that no one is exempt of. No one. So when you see the people that are in the space that they are in, you need to consider that that person is in that situation because those are the consequences of choices that they've made in their life. And because you're going to see that more and more. And if you're not going to get that into proper context, it's also going to take your life. So you need to make that choice because there's going to be this process of those that think they have and those that think they have not. That is what's happening on the earth. But it's not about that at all. Those that have are the ones that understand how to apply energy. That's normally the case. Not always. That's why those that have suddenly don't have anymore. So this is where we are now evolving to. The very system of life is evaluating thoroughness, thoughtfulness, consideration, caring, generosity, forethought, energy, willingness, conscientious care. And I'm constantly teaching that, or at least I think I am, in what I share. But life is also now forcing me to teach that in the way that who I am as a person and how things need to happen in the physical plane. Because for me in my life, everything happens on the beyond. But I also need to now bring it down to the physical plane in order to impact this world so that this world can start ascending. And ascension is not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing. So you have to be in a space where you can evaluate what are your truths, what are your true guidelines for mutual equal exchange of energy in giving and receiving in any process that you may encounter. So let it be part of your daily contemplation to create a new rule book, to rewrite the laws that currently govern the way that the human race do things. Because a new rule book is urgently needed. And it's not really a new rule book. It's a rule book full of what we remembered. Our brains, this grey matter in here, is for survival. Because it knows it's only got this life. At the end of this life, what is the end of this life? It's when what is inside this body leaves. Then this body cannot continue. When that breath exits, this can no longer continue, including the grey matter. It dies. So the brain is purely for survival. But your consciousness is for consistency and for harmony. The truth is, you always make it. You know, someone swam from Robben Island to the coast the other day in our community, Sheila Ann. Wonderful accolade. But while you're in it, you don't think you're going to make it. It feels very far. And it feels impossible because of the cold, because of the conditions, because of the harshness of the place that you occupy. But you always make it, and you always get through it, because life never gives you more than you can handle. Your life is proof. So be calm and I'm listening. Be calm and relax into the process. Be the king or the queen of your own mind, and remember that this mind is fleeting. It doesn't have the answers for life. You won't find it in here. I know it's between two temples, and between two temples what's inside is meant to be sacred. But temples on earth is not sacred anymore. People get killed there. You know, there's so much hatred. So don't go into the temples. Be the king or the queen of your mind. Befriend your mind so that you can be with God. Befriend your mind so you can be with Source. Befriend your mind so that you can be with that which is beyond. So every nanosecond, consider what is needed to heal and give life. Honesty is not always the answer, but integrity is, and consequences are. Honesty is a rare commodity on the earth today. Even if you hear the truth is shared by so many with such a twist today that it can direct your consciousness in totally the opposite way. That's why it's so dangerous to encounter and to surf the net, you know, the way that people just listen to meditations on the internet and so on and so on. It's dangerous. I had a first-hand experience of how dangerous the internet is when I got scammed the other day. So every nanosecond, consider what is needed to heal and to give life. In everything that you do, give life. You don't have to be a parent to give life. You give life by who you be. You give to life, not things. Your presence, your participation, your energy, that which is real, the stuff that is beyond form. That's why the word is transform, beyond form. Presence, participation, energy, what is real? What is real is felt in here. Give without expectation and without guilt. When we give, there's so much guilt that's behind that giving. Normally, you can go and have a look. You'll find guilt there in that giving somewhere. Let it be pulled out by that cold sun above your head, the guilt from your body. Give without guilt. Give because you can, not because you feel guilty about something. No. When you feel guilty, you make everything in that picture very small. And to feel guilty means that you think that you didn't give, that you didn't give enough, that you didn't do enough. No, you must know. When you give. There's no expectations. Give without guilt. Give with willingness. Listen. You know, what is the mood that you're listening with? If you're listening with a cuck mood, I can tell you, you can only hear cuck then. Don't listen with a cuck mood. If you're in a cuck mood, say, please, don't speak to me now. I'm not listening with a good ear. Don't listen with a cuck mood. Listen with a mood that's empowered, not disempowered. Don't listen with a mood that you're just going to give desperation. Because where there's desperation, there's only destruction. Give with love and integrity. Integrity is what you think, what you say, and what you do is the same thing. Not you think one thing, oh, I'm going to get you, and with your mouth you say, oh, I love you, darling. And then, integrity is alignment. Love and integrity. And then you'll experience that you can give with worth. Because when you give something, it's worth something. When any space that you enter, you make a contribution. Your space, the fact that you're there, your presence, your energy, your importance makes that space extra special in terms of what it can create, what it can send forth. Because we need each other. We need to stand arm in arm together like in a chain. What is a chain other than arm in arm? When we hold each other up. It's a beautiful process. Yeah? So, you now need to learn that you're not here to save or to rescue anyone. You're not here to rescue and save anyone. No. Because rescuing serves no one. When you place yourself in a place that needs rescuing, it is a consequence that you must deal with because you've put yourself there. I saw a lady yesterday. She was sitting on the pavement. And her body language was telling me, I'm sitting here and you're sitting in that fancy car. And because you're sitting in that fancy car, you should feel ashamed of yourself. And you should feel so guilty that I'm sitting on this pavement and now you are obligated. You must look after me. And I thought to myself, what a strange thing to think. Because if you were in nature and you were just sitting there on the pavement like that, something's going to come and eat you. Number one, have you ever gone into nature? Where in nature do you see that? You go to the Kruger Park and all the way along the way, everywhere along the way, are animals and plants just sitting there, looking at you, demanding that you feed it, that you make sure that it can continue living. Just sitting there, or standing there. We do turn animals into such things in zoos and in these fancy, places where they breed the animals to be shot and to be hunted. What do they call them? Canned lions. So we do turn animals in that. I know that. So we've got to now realize that it's awakening to oneness. And in this awakening to oneness, you will be experiencing ascension symptoms. And there's many things written about ascension symptoms on the internet. But ascension symptoms becomes when you feel that something has fundamentally changed in your life. You can feel that there's a real shift. And these shifts are not always the result of things that are pleasurable or that makes you happy. That can be for me, the greatest shifts that I know in my life is after a period of a dark night of the soul, which now in life is experienced as burnout. But what it really is a dark night of the soul. But you can't say that in business because, they will frown at you if you talk about the dark night of the soul. But that's what it really is. So ascension symptoms are everywhere and we experience them every day. And there's many definitions. But here are the ones that for me is the truth. I resonate with them. Number one, I didn't write them, but I resonate with them. Feeling as though you are in a pressure cooker or in intense energy, feeling stress. Remember, you are adjusting to a higher vibration and you will eventually adjust. Old patterns and behaviors and beliefs are also being pushed to the surface. There's a lot going on inside of you. Whether you believe it or whether you agree with it or not, that's how it is. I'm telling you. And people are taking medication for this. That's the scary part. So, number two, a feeling of disorientation, not knowing where you are. A loss of a sense of place because there's no space and time anymore. Place as we know it is falling away. It's being replaced with dimensionality. It's all moving into energy. A feeling of disorientation, not knowing where you are, because it's a loss of a sense of place. You are not 3D anymore. You have moved on. And you are in the process of moving on into higher realms. You are going up the ladder. Snakes and ladders. You're going up the ladder. It's a profound game, actually. So, number three, unusual aches and pains throughout different parts of your body. Aches and pains you don't understand because they make no sense. I mean, if I look at my own body, I'm going, what is this? You are purifying and releasing blocked energy, vibrating at 3D while you are vibrating in a higher dimension. I don't want to know what the higher dimensions are, and I'm really not interested in naming them because I can't name something that I haven't been in yet, that I don't even know that exist. So I don't want to name them. I know that they're there, and I know that they're available to me, and I know what I experience when I allow myself to access them. It's amazing. It's liberating. So another one, number 4, waking at night between 2 and 4 a.m. Much is going on in your dream states. You can't be there for long lengths, and you need a break. I mean, some of our longest dreams take mere seconds. There's no time and space. This is also the cleansing and releasing hour. So use it to cleanse and release. Use these exercises that you cleanse yourself, that you up vibe your energy for the next day. Don't think about the sleep that you lose. Think about the qualities that you're gaining, that you can do in the hours of the day where there is space to do it, where the noise has subsided, so that you can be heard. Number 5, a memory loss. A great abundance of short-term memory loss and only vague remembrances of your past. That sometimes you think, oh, how can I not remember things anymore? You are in more than one dimension at a time, and going back and forth is part of this whole transition. You are experiencing a disconnect also, because some of these dimensionalities you no longer want to be there. You certainly don't want to live in a dimensionality of hate and life and killing and war. You want to live in another dimension. So also you're part of the old. The old is forever gone. Don't wish for old. I often catch myself, I wish for the old days. You know, especially with all these bloody apps. I don't know. I can't stop resisting apps. I really don't know why, but I resist them with a vehemence. And my life is, I'm being forced to use them. I resist them very much. So it's going to be something that I need to overcome because it's real. So the old is forever gone. Being in the now is the way of the world that is unfolding in front of us. The way that life itself has evolved. That's not dictated by religion or by beliefs. That is dictated by the way that you choose to experience it. Because it's unfolding, whether you agree or not. So seeing and hearing things. Sure, I heard something last night. I don't know what it was. It sounded like a small girl that spoke behind me. And it was not a human voice. It was an electronic voice. So I was on my back stoop when it happened. I was looking around. I thought, now what am I listening? It didn't upset me, but it was definitely something that I heard that was not part of my household. So seeing and hearing things, you are experiencing different dimensions as you transition, all according to how sensitive you are and how you are wired. So you can choose how you want. If you don't want to tune into those stations, don't worry. You know, nobody's going to be upset if you don't. And you don't have to fight about it and you don't have to argue about it either. If you don't want to hear how things work here and how you need to attune yourself to it, that's really okay. And you can be upset about it. But just understand that it's not going to absolve you from what is going down. You don't want to listen, that's really okay, but you're going to go down. And your life is showing you, because of the things that are happening in your life, is showing you that nobody can order for you. Those are the consequences of what I'm talking about here. It's a loss of identity. That's number 7. You want to access the old you, but it's not over there. You may not know you are looking at the mirror. Most people don't know that they're looking at the mirror. And they're in denial about it. Denial is the source of core actions, of core actions, of core habits. You have cleared much of your old patterns and you are now embodying a much more light and simpler, more purified divine. All is in order. You are really okay. All is in order. Let me just check the time. Okay, we won't get through all of them, but I'll read some of them. We'll carry on with them next time. Number 8, feeling out of body. You may feel as though someone is talking, but it's not you. This is our natural defense mechanism of survival. When we are under acute stress of feeling traumatized, out of control, we project. You'll feel out of your body. You won't be present here to experience the pain. You project out of your body. That's how it works. Your body is going through a lot, and you may not want to be in it. People have great difficulty being in their bodies. That's why we've got to ground a lot. So the ascension guide here is that it's just a way of easing the transition process. Don't worry about it. That's, that's how we ease when you have an anesthetic, you leave your body so that they can work on it so you don't feel pain. So, it's the way of easing this transition process. You don't need to experience what your body's going through. That's your greatest fear, what pain you have to feel. It's not wired that way. You don't have to feel pain in your body. Leave long before you feel pain. It only lasts a short time anyway, this out-of-bodiness. It passes. And it passes because you take action. You ground yourself. You're holding the consciousness, but you're grounding it. You're here in this earth. You need to operate here. You're not a cosmic fairy. You're not a cosmic fairy. Number 9, periods of deep sleeping. You are resting from all the acclimating and the integrating, and as well as building up for the next phase. So you need to rest after a long swim. You can ask Sheila Ann. Your body wants to rest. It wants to acclimatize. It wants to reintegrate. It wants to recharge. Because you must remember, you as a human being, animals, things that grow, is in a process of growth. They are the things that generate their own energy. They don't need to be plugged in by the wall to get some electricity. No, they generate their own energy. And that is the thing that has been the source of everybody on this planet for years and years. How to generate energy. And you do it all the time. You're a master at it. So periods of deep sleeping is needed. Number 10, heightened activities to your surroundings. You're going to feel heightened sensitivity to crowds, to noise, to foods, to TV, to other human voices, and various other stimulations. It will be barely tolerable. You will really it will deter you. You will also be overwhelmed very easily and become easily overstimulated because you are tuning up. This too will eventually pass. So don't be too concerned about that. Don't go into resistance of it. Remember what I shared earlier on. Don't go into resistance. I gave you the tools there, how to deal with this. So always here you receive the tools, not because you need to rely on something, not because you need to rely on the space, but because it's the source of your tools. And the tools we forget. So it's important to have tools because you need to use them. If you're not going to use them, they ain't going to work. You can have a kitchen full of gadgets. If you don't use them, they're worthless. Number 11, you don't feel like doing anything. I'm going to conclude with number 11. You don't feel like doing anything. You are in a rest period. You are rebooting. Your body knows what it needs. In addition, when you begin reaching the higher realms, doing and making things happen becomes obsolete because the new energy supports the feminine of basking, of receiving, of creating, of self-care and nurturing. And ask the universe to bring you what you want while you are enjoying yourself and having fun. And please, I'm not saying I'm listening. I'll share it. It's not about now just, I'm just being reminded to correct this. It's not about, letting go of all your responsibilities and go, fuck that, I'm going to enjoy myself and have fun and just do it in my life. In fun that ends in fun, you always have to consider the consequences. Even in pleasure, there's consequences. It's not because from lack of luck or lack of hail, and that when you have a good time that there's going to be some terrible things waiting. Cancel that thought. No, it doesn't work like that. You are compensated, but you need to do things with the proper intent and with the proper mood. You are allowed to have a good life. You are allowed to enjoy yourself and have fun. You don't have to hold back because there's someone else that's not having it. It's not your stuff. You didn't work for that. You worked for this. You worked for what you enjoy. That you must always remember. And I'm going to conclude with that. There's still another 8. There's 30. Now, let me just see how many there is. There's a total of, I wrote 30. So there's, not all of them, but I wrote some of them. So we're now at number 11. So my commitment to you is that at our next session, God spare me, I will be sharing with you the rest of them, which will be 21, 30, 40, no, 11. No, not 11. I can't even count. I mean, God, what ascension symptoms am I having? I'm not feeling so good at counting today. That's really okay. I don't have to resist it. You've been an amazing audience. Thank you so much. And thank you for being here for me, that I have someone to speak to. And thank you for being off cam so we can record it and I can share it with everybody.